Nah. Welcome to this video. My name is Hannes and today I want to talk about left-handed guitar players, left-handed guitars, and what the problems and benefits of those instruments are compared to right-handed guitars. So you start out on guitar, you might write with your left hand or do your everyday stuff with your left hand, and you ask yourself, do I need or are there left-handed guitars? Yes, there are. It's not necessarily the way that you really need one, because it might be that you write with your left hand but you still play a right-handed guitar. Famous examples like Mark Knopfler from Dire Straits, for example. I have a lot of colleagues, a lot of friends which left-handed, they still play a right-handed guitar, but I also know some guys which play left-handed guitars. And I asked them how they found that out, and they just did it by trying it out. There are several ways. Of course, you can order online or go into a shop both versions of an acoustic guitar or an electric guitar, whatever. Cheap ones, you're a beginner, you don't need like a really expensive one, and you just get them both and you just try them out for a couple of days. And then you will find out, I think, pretty quickly where your guts go. And then I think you should follow that. It's still a process, doesn't matter if you play it this way or the other. It's still a process and you will have problems, and don't be too frightened by that. If you decide after a couple of months left-hand guitar playing isn't the thing, I need a right-handed one, get one and sell the other one. I think sometimes people are too afraid to just try it out and then they don't play at all, and this is a big mistake, I think, because you should play guitar. Let's wrap it up and say, what possibilities do you have when you have a right-handed guitar lying next to you? You think you might just swap it around and play it like this, like I did in the intro, and you saw how much I failed at that. Nah. But the thing is, the strings are kind of like upside down, of course. You have the thin ones, which sound high. Holding the pick with the left hand is pretty hard. And then you have the deep strings down. When you play like this, it's the other way around, of course. Low strings are close to you, and the high strings are close to the floor. And when I play a chord, take a close listen. I start hitting the low strings first, which gives the chord a nice mellow, round and warm character, because it starts out with the low strings, and it brightens up when I hit the upper strings. I mean, a downstroke is kind of like the thing. I mean, of course there are upstrokes and I could play, but it just feels more natural, I think, to have downstrokes as a basis and kind of like a heartbeat. And you will have always this sound. When you just turn it around, it will sound brighter. Let me try to grab again the same chord and do a downstroke. It starts with the upper strings then. Sounds totally different, besides the fact that I'm not playing it very nice, but you get the idea. This is problem number one. Now you might ask, I could just swap around the strings. Yes, you could, but the thing is, here in the saddle, you have those parts where the string goes through the saddle, and when you want to take the fat string here and put it through the saddle on the top, it won't fit, so you have to make space there. But please, if you have never done this before, ask a pro to do it for you in a guitar store or wherever. Then, on an acoustic guitar, you might be quite okay. But also here on the bridge, we have the problem that the bridge is kind of like angled in a certain way. I don't know if you can see that. The white thing here where the string is lying on, it comes through the top of the guitar here, those pins keep the string in place, and then it touches here the bridge, the white thing here. And it's angled. It's not going like straight, but it's kind of like this. Not like this, but like this. And this is because we want to compensate the intonation. If this thing would be straight, you could just play nicely open strings, but when you grab a chord up here, it won't sound good anymore. This has something to do with the tuning of the guitar. You don't need to go too deep into that. So this is a problem. This needed, if you swap the strings, the low till here, the bridge would need this angle and not that angle. So this is kind of like a problem. Of course, you could just swap them and try out if your grabbing hand gets comfortable with chords and stuff. So don't worry, you cannot really break something here. Just be careful with the saddle here because the holes in the saddle are not like big enough. But if something like this breaks, you can get it replaced, but I warned you. So, what are the other possibilities to find that out? As I said before, you can order or borrow a guitar from a friend. You can go into a store, I recommend that, and just play both versions. There's nothing wrong with playing left-handed guitar, but there are not that many models available out there. You will have to pay a little bit more, I think, when you're going in the more pricey ones for the left-handed, because there aren't that many left-handed guitars as there are right-handed guitars. But if you really feel I need a left-handed guitar, go for it. There's enough, I would say, that to become a happy guitar player. But really, don't force yourself too much into it because you think I'm writing with my left hand, I have to play. It's totally open. Just try it out. What else can I say about the differences there? There are chord diagrams, which are for left-handed players sometimes hard to read because they're the other way around. I think this should not be the reason why you go for a right-handed guitar if you're still feeling more comfortable with a left-handed guitar, because, I mean, come on. How many chord diagrams are there? Just take a piece of paper and a pen and write them out so they fit for you and learn the chords. I mean, this is like a beginner thing anyways, which you have to learn if you're a left-handed or right-handed player. In the beginning, you're always like, which finger needs to go where? This is not an excuse, but I think when you're learning with notation or with tablature, it doesn't really matter if you're a left-handed or right-handed guitar player. Really try it out. There's nothing, not the rule, which tells you how you should do it, and really give it a go. And if you get the feeling after a while you get stuck, get the other guitar and sell the other one. Don't make an excuse because you're not sure about it. And if you have any more questions about this topic, just let me know, put it in the comments. For electric guitars, we have an advantage on the one hand and a disadvantage on the other. The bridge here is adjustable. That way you can compensate this problem which I was talking about earlier, where we had this on the acoustic guitar, the bridge was angled like this, and now it should be like this when you turn around a right-handed guitar like that. You can compensate that with a screwdriver here. Also, you have the problem here with the saddle here. You know, the low strings don't fit the whole of the upper strings. But you can get that done by a luthier at a guitar store or wherever. And Jimi Hendrix played like this. And then you see already the biggest problem, for me at least, the knobs and the switches and the cables are kind of like in the way of your arm. I mean, you can get used to everything, but I played in the studio a couple of times with a left-handed bass. It was turned around for a right-handed guitar player, a bass player like me, and I was so annoyed by this cable being in the way of my arm all the time. But of course, you can get used to, human beings get used to everything. But yeah, this is basically it. If you want to choose an instrument, you don't have the money or the time to get a left-handed guitar, try it out with a right-handed one. Swap the strings maybe. Be careful with your bridge here, but if you just want to try out if your hand feels comfortable with it, go for it for a couple of weeks, or order at a store both versions and play them after each other. Then you will find out what works best for you. So, thanks for tuning in. If you're a beginner, take a close look at my crash course, which you find in the video descriptions. Tons of free lessons with a lot of fun, a lot of music. I would love to see you there too. And we see us in the next video, don't we? Bye bye.